Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest indoor adventure in Tomb of Annihilation, Part 6 of our Gunpowder Fantasy Run. Today is May 3rd, 2020, and you are loved. And that is a very important thing that we like to remind each and every single one of our viewers at the beginning of each and every single one of our games. If this is your first time hearing that message from us specifically, or if you just want to see more of what we do, consider going to youtube.com/indooradventures, where you can find a plethora of VODs. We have several games that we've already played the entirety of the way through, so if you are interested in seeing how crews like these individuals have gone through things like Curse of Strahd, Waterdeep Dragon Heist, or even several of the other one-shots that we have, YouTube's a good place to check that out. Unless you are an audio-oriented individual, consider going towards Where Anywhere audiocasts are made available for free. And speaking of things being made available for free, the after show that we like to do called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community but also from each other, is currently being made available for free on our Patreon. So if you go to patreon.com/indooradventures, you can find an entire catalog of after shows where we answer questions, like I said previously. But if you already support us on all of these avenues and are looking for another way, consider then going to indooradventure.redbubble.com, where you can get all sorts of sweet merch. We got t-shirts, we got posters, we got mugs, we got throw pillows, we got tank tops, crop tops, booty shorts maybe. I don't know if we actually have booty shorts. I think basketball shorts maybe. You can get all sorts of stuff there. It's really cool. Go and give it a look-see. But other than that, that is it for my spiel. So, hey RJ, who are you playing today?
Hey everybody, I'm RJ and I'll be playing Hassan, the Yuan-Ti Druid Cleric.
Then it's you, Danae.
Oh shoot. Oh hi everybody, I'm Danae. And I'm going to be playing as Baz, the Drow Rogue.
And I am the Indoor Adventurer, and I shall be playing as Teshvael, the Mark of Shadow Elven Paladin. And Danae's gone, just booted. But hey, you'll also notice, probably, that another one of our dear friends, LBHackEmUp, who often plays RinRin on this show, at least on Sundays, is going to... Baz is back, is going to be joining us a little bit later. So, yeah, that's why we only have our 3-player setup right now.
I was gonna go into like, hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. I'm gonna be playing RinRin.
I'm playing RinRin, the
so
Tabaxi
cute.
monk. And I'm Tyler, and I will be your DM. Last time, Teshvael's troublesome travelers departed Oralanga. Next stop, Firefinger. On the way, a terrifying Tyrannosaurus spotted the party, and they narrowly avoided its wrath. Despite some setbacks and being set upon by undead flower zombies, they near Fort Vengeance. What further complications will our heroes face? Find out this time in the Indoor Adventure presents the Tomb of Annihilation. Like I said, last time we ended with a fight. During the night, there was a moaning and shuffling as multiple humanoids exited the forest and attacked your camp. Upon close combat with them, you notice that they were covered in vines, and some of them had a yellow flower growing out of their heads. And they were tough to deal with, not because they were did too much damage to you guys, but because they could take a big wallop. And we pick up at the end of that fight. Your long rest was interrupted.
Roll a medicine check for the autopsy.
Right, and of course you are immediately beginning your autopsy, so go ahead.
And
23. Sorry.
Okay.
Was that a 23?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. They're all humans of multiple races. Only like 1 or 2 are Chultan. The rest are from some other ethnicity on the mainland. They are dressed in garbs of the Order of the Gauntlet, and upon your autopsy, you see that this flower has pretty much enveloped the brain, and I think you learn that they weren't killed and then raised; they were transformed before they died. At least some of them. Others, were killed at some point, but you found that interesting about one or two of them.
I think Hassan is like fiddling with one of their heads and like throws it over to Baz to catch. Mazel tov, it's a boy.
Oh, well, what do you know? It is.
It looks like these flowers were... There's a certain gestation period before they take over.
He's fiddling with the flower, and then he stops, and then just kind of holds it away from him.
So that means these zombies were infected pre-death.
I see. You didn't need to hold on to this for any reason, or...
No. I just wanted to mess with you, Baz.
Thunk. Drops it.
I'm sure at this point RinRin mentions that it's annoying that they interrupted her sleep. She feels so tired, and she's going to crawl back up into the tree and get some shut-eye.
And then this happened 4 days after we met with Sasha Nabaza?
That is correct,
Okay.
by my count.
We're on day 12 now, right?
We are on standby. Day 15 total.
Holy shit. Okay.
You did get a slight hang up a day and a half ago when your guide accidentally went the wrong way.
Right.
And you also missed a day because you guys all had to went into the temple.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I think that Tesh would be going to look at the armor. You said that these were from Camp Vengeance and Camp Righteous?
They're both of the same order,
Okay.
so they're all wearing the same regalia.
Gotcha. Would I recognize these individuals?
Go ahead, roll a history check.
Hey, that's not bad. Let's see it. A 13.
13. Their face, I wouldn't say decomposed, but kind of distended from the presence of these vines on them. I think you recognize maybe one face.
Okay.
Just from passing, you probably don't even remember a name. Just somebody that you likely saw at Camp Righteous while you were there.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that Tesh is just going to start getting the bodies together for us to burn.
Okay. That sounds good. I will say you do this. It is just about midnight. You all have dark vision, so you don't really care about how dark it is. And would you like to, I guess, restart your long rest from here so you can gain the benefits from a long rest?
Yeah. RinRin was on first watch, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, no, RinRin just sleeps through the night. It's Tesh and Baz that share the watch, alternating when they trance.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then Tesh has to trance without his armor on, correct?
Yeah. Because chainmail is clonky.
It is quite clonky.
That's okay, though.
So from there, I'll say you guys spend the rest of the night. You benefit from a long rest. However, it's a little into mid-morning by the time that you pack up camp and begin to go. And as you get going, your guide will roll her survival check to make sure you're going the right way. which she does. And you continue. I know the two of you, Baz and Hassan, and RinRin and Azaka as well, remember leaving Camp Vengeance, and you know that you walked through about a little while, not a little while, but a decent distance away from the camp before you came into the forest. As you spend morning and the beginning of the afternoon and close in on the camp around late afternoon, you realize there has been actually a significant amount of progress in cutting down some more trees, and you actually run into several members of the Order of the Gauntlet out in the forest at the edge of the clearing, cutting down some more trees. And as you guys are approaching, one of the guards, a rifle strapped over his back, waves at you guys.
Do you know
Hi.
these people?
These are Order of the Gauntlet are the assholes, no? Yes.
No, that's the Flaming Fist. That's the
Flaming
asshole.
Fist, yes. God damn it, all these hands.
Yeah, there's too many hands. Order of the Gauntlet, terrible. Order of the Gauntlets are the ones that occupy Camp Vengeance, who you helped Undril travel down to Camp Vengeance when you first arrived. And this guy will wave you down, and as you approach, Hi! Oh, you guys, or at least a few of you, you've been here recently, right?
Yes, we helped some of your wounded on our last visit here.
Right. I wouldn't forget a friendly face, he says, smiling at you, Hassan. How's the traveling been?
Wet, muddy. We've seen some of your compatriots out in the far jungle.
Have you?
They were less than accommodating.
I'm taking that to mean they are no longer with us.
No.
He, wipes his brow. I was afraid of that. I'm gonna have to go tell the commander, and he's not gonna like that. Will you guys be stopping in the camp? You brought that sergeant. Well, I guess I should say lieutenant now. She probably wants to see you.
Yes, I would also like to speak with your camp doctor about the status in which we found your friends.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if you don't mind bringing the message over there, I've got to watch these guys.
Subtle nod.
And he will continue, or the lot of them will continue with their activities, chopping down some trees, stripping them, doing work to bring back lumber.
I think Tesh would probably join Hassan. Or actually... Yeah, he'd join Hassan.
Just in talking to the doctor?
Seeing the med tents. Seeing if anybody is, poisoned or diseased.
Right.
I got some lay-on hands that I can throw around.
Excellent. You do... Go ahead.
Sorry, I would have told the group that maybe we'll... What time is it? Like midday?
It is late afternoon by the time you reach here.
Probably tell the group that we will be resting in here for the time being. It would be nice to sleep without having to worry about everything.
And as you guys recalled, they did have sleeping accommodations available for visitors, the driest of which were literally at the base of the fort, towers. I say towers pretty loosely. They're about 20-something feet up. But the tents that they have available are in poor shape as far as comfort goes. When you arrive at the fort, a familiar face, the same guard that captain of the guard that met you last time sees you and has the gate opened for you. Hassan and Tesh go straight to the med tents, where the main cleric, main cleric slash acolyte, Sister Cyas, Cyas, is tending to some more wounded, a little less than last time that you were here, Hassan, but you see the same conditions, people suffering from different diseases or infections. There's, let's say, whereas last time there was about a half dozen to a dozen, there is less than a half dozen this time, but still in a similar state. I'm assuming RinRin goes and finds Undril. What would you like to do, Baz?
Just keep everybody within sight as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
He will take a little bit of time alone, I think. Just go and sit outside of the medical tents and get out his mask, which is made out of abalone, which I have learned is a type of seashell that is like dull on the top, and then you turn it upside down. It's like a geode where it's all shiny and iridescent on the inside, and that's really cool when you think about it in terms of a mask. Anyway, this mask is carved to resemble like a flat-faced lizard with a big toothy grin, and just kind of like an out-of-character thing. There's a scene where he's examining the inside of this mask, and while the outside is carved to look like this face, there are numbers that are inscribed on the inside of the mask, and they look like dates. And he's just kind of looking at those and rubbing his finger over them. I think that most of them have a line drawn through them, and he will get out a knife, and the most recent number he's going to run his knife through and draw a line across it as well.
All right. Azaka is going to, again, hang out with the other trouble warriors that are helping out these guys. And I'm sure a scene with RinRin and Undril will be like, "Oh, Sergeant Undril, it's so good to see you. I'm RinRin. You're my friend." And Undril will be like, "Oh, RinRin, it's so nice to see you again, too. I'm actually not a sergeant anymore. I got field promoted. Speaking of which, I could use your help." And RinRin will be like, I could always help a friend. And they hug and kiss.
I love helping friends.
They're kissing their mare. Wow. Okay.
No, they're not.
It's the jungle, baby.
It's a reference to something else.
Yeah, sorry. That's just, most people these days only speak in references. So at the medical tents, what are you guys doing?
You said that there was less than a half dozen?
Yeah.
I mean, if there are 4 of them, 5, 5, 5, 5. Everyone is cured of. Oh yeah, just go through and just like, blessings of Kyber upon you, friend. May the dragon of the deep watch over you.
Most of these soldiers, or especially the clerics here, are more ascribed to Torm. So they will eye you strangely with your blessings, but Sister Cyas will thank you very much. Well, you're just a sweet pea, aren't you?
Oh, I try to be. Well, thank you.
I swear, these guys have been, you've done a great job here, but it's almost every other day we're getting more people coming down with some disease or some sickness that we just aren't able to deal with.
That's understandable. But I believe that at least in doing this, you'll have a fresh starting point.
Much obliged.
And Teshvael will like kind of nod. He's gonna leave the actual talking to Sister Sias.
Yeah.
He'll leave that to Hassan. He doesn't know these people. He just saw the sick and injured and was like, I could help them.
Retroactively, were there any identifiers on the people in the jungle that we burned? Like badge IDs? Sort of dealy?
I'd say people like wear name tags or like dog tags or something.
Would've snip those off.
Yeah.
Sister Sias,
Yes, dear?
could you tell me anything about these people? And he'll slide the dog tags across.
And she'll, take the dog tags and open like a book of medical records and just eye them down, cross out a few names. Well, at least we know. Where did you find these?
They assaulted us in the jungle. They were infected with some sort of flower.
Flower, you say?
I believe the flower was... Well, this parasite was implanted on them while they were still alive. Might have taken them over.
I know we've been sending out patrols, and I think some of these match up with one of the patrols here. And she flips through the medical records, checks off all the names, and then she pulls out a helpful guide to the flora and fauna of Chult book. You say flower, and then she gets to a page. This here, yellow musk creeper, infectious type of plant, has a charming scent to it. Yeah, I think that matches your description.
If any of the soldiers here have the same symptoms as the last known, person, we should probably quarantine them for the time being.
Well, I'll look out for it now that we know that this here plant is out there. Yeah, just one more thing to worry about, isn't it?
Teshvael, remind me to tell RinRin not to stop and smell the proverbial roses.
I will be sure to do so. And speaking of such... Boop.
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 It's RinRin!
RinRin! Hi! She's not here yet.
She's not here yet. It's
Hello,
RinRin!
it's RinRin!
RinRin.
Nice. I saw that.
What?
What?
Your impersonation of RinRin.
I have no idea what you're
It
talking
was uncanny. You couldn't even
No,
tell.
No, it wasn't.
And then they're kissing, and now they're married.
Yeah. Congratulations on your new wife. No. You guys are now at Camp Vengeance.
Oh, okay.
Undril, you remember the half-orc, half-dwarf Order of the Gauntlet member met you there.
Yep.
And was asking for your help.
Yeah.
And also, she's Lieutenant Undril now. She got field promoted.
Okay. Are we jumping into this scene right this second?
We don't need to.
Oh no, it's okay. I just so what are they asking for my help in?
Well, she when you guys are let in, she's kind of right out in front, waiting outside of the command tent. And seeing you, she immediately runs up and it's like, RinRin, it's so nice to see you again.
Oh, you want to redo this scene? I mean, it was fine last time.
Anyway.
Hello, it's so good to see you.
See, that's what I was looking for. Was that now that we have that out of the way. So the thing that I need help with is we are going to have a meeting here actually pretty soon. I know it's late, but I'm trying to convince the commander that we can't stay here. And since you were did such a good job at talking to him last time, I was hoping I could get some help from you.
Of course, yeah. No, he's very, very good person. He seemed to be understanding.
That's fantastic. And she leads you to the command tent. I think that the other two are doing their medical rounds at this time. So unless Baz wants to go in with RinRin, I think it's just her and the command staff. Cool. RinRin, you are led into the tent by Undril, and there is Commander Breakbone. You'll remember a human male. Next to him, off of the parapets, is one of his captains of the guard, and another captain of the guard who is a dwarf. And the five of you are in there. Commander Breakbone, recognizing you, says, "Well, welcome on back, Miss RinRin. It's nice of you to join us. Now, Lieutenant Undril, I know you had something to bring up. If you'll proceed." So, I have taken inventory, and because of the command that you've put upon me, I decided that we aren't able to stay here. The conditions, the soldiers are getting infected too often. We're too close to the swamp. I'm sure we're defensible, but we're in too level of a level. The camp is flooding. For the sake of keeping our people healthy, we just can't stay here. And I think we should go back to Camp Righteous. And Breakbone's like, "Well, that's just ridiculous. That place got overrun." And this scene plays out. Essentially, the points that are laid out are Windrill wants to send a scouting party to Camp Righteous to set up a new fort there. She is backed by the human female captain of the guard, who says that with the raised land there, they could easily set up a more defensible palisade, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the dwarf is like, "Oh, you're just being weaklings back in the trenches of the war. We deal with sickness all the time. Just being like, back in the day, it was too difficult." What?
Why is this dwarf Canadian?
All dwarves are Canadian.
Didn't you know?
Don't you know?
I hate you guys.
Hey. Pulling on the Midwest heartstrings. I think a lot of the time RinRin's just kind of like looking back and forth. Are you going to play with loud things the whole time? I know you just got out of the hospital, but damn. What do you have? Oh, it's a bottle cap. Pause. Hold on. Sorry.
Pause.
My first rendition, my first idea for a character for this game was going to be Nora Full Flag, and I hope you know that you dodged a bullet. Hi there! My name is Nora Full Flaggin. You might know me of the Minnesota Full Flaggins.
RinRin's going to again watch back and forth and kind of like try and find a time when she's like supposed to speak.
And this happens when finally Breakbone's like, we just don't have the manpower to send a scouting party. And then Undril looks to you. It's like, these people helped us before, and RinRin's a fantastic person. She'll help me again.
Yes, I can do that. That is me. I am helpful, and I want to make sure that everyone's safe. And I mean, if there's like zombies and stuff out there, then I think that we should go and clear it out, because I don't want people to have wet feet, because that's gross and it hurts people. And if you can be safer there, then that'd be better. Yes.
That's what I think, though. We should definitely do that. And one of the guards is like, "See, I told you. It is a better plan, and we have help." And Breakbone just, "All right, well, I'll spare a patrol if you take these people up there with some of our boats and some supplies, build a defensible location. We'll think about moving back to Camp Righteous."
Will you think about moving back, or will you actually move back? Because my dad, or my mentor used to tell me that he'd think about doing things, but he didn't actually mean that. He just said that to make me stop talking.
Go ahead and make me a persuasion.
A persuasion roll. That's a natural 20.
You just
Womp,
have
womp,
this.
womp,
You
womp.
have this guy's
Nat
number.
20 this guy before?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. Yes,
That's just
I
a cat person.
You have this guy's number. You just pull all the heartstrings out of him. And he's like, yes, you know what? You're right. You know, I've been told before to listen to my instincts, and girl, you got fantastic instincts.
did. Thank you.
And they work the logistics. They'll have 3 canoes ready by the next morning to load up with a couple guards and tribal guides, as well as you guys, so you can pull some lumber up the river back to Camp Righteous, which, if you recall and are map savvy, will remember is kind of on the way to Firefinger.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Cool. RinRin, very pleased with herself, gives Ungirl a hug.
Oh, she's all in for it. Thanks you so much for just always being there for me.
Oh, well, not a problem. Is there anything else that we can do now that we're here? If we're going to spend the night?
Well, I mean, I know your other friends went to the medical tent again, and I know that that doctor of yours is probably working his miracles again. And she takes a second and looks at you, but there's a new person with you, and I realized someone was missing.
Yeah. Kind of lost one. My good friend, the alligator one.
I'm very
Nadaza.
sorry. I'm very sorry for your loss. It's a dangerous world we live in.
Yeah. And then we picked up this other friend whose name is Teshvael, and he's very nice. He's helped me a lot through lots of things, and he seems like a really nice guy.
I mean, if they're keeping company with you, they must be nice.
You're too nice to me. You're going to spoil me.
Oh, she does, and says if she had an older sister, she wished she was like you.
I'm not that much older than you.
Meanwhile, Tesh is actually being very helpful and healing many of the sick, as well as Hassan is bringing some more problems to light, and Baz is sulking by himself. In fact, I think while you are looking sulkily at your mask, Summerwise, the pseudo dragon that has been pseudo following you around, every now and then you see him fly off into the distance in the morning and come back at night and alight on a tree branch near RinRin. He lands next to you, and they still only communicates through limited telepathy. Looks at you curiously, and expresses that he forgives you.
I don't think Baz knows how to process this emotionally. His eyes get really glassy, and he says, "Sorry, I got something in my eye." And he gets up and he runs away from this little pseudo dragon.
Okay. He flies off again. Probably lands with Azaka and keeps her company. So you guys are able to spend the night here and have another long rest. I know we're still marking off good berries as your provisions, and you are able to stay the night. The next morning, bright and early, you load up into your canoes. You are accompanied by 4 soldiers, each of them armed with a rifle. And for tribal warriors, they split up between 2 canoes with Undrul in one of them, and the 6 of you, Azaka, actually 5 of you, with Azaka, can load up into another one of the canoes, and you are dragging lumber up the river towards Camp Righteous. And as you're going through the morning, you, let's say, what would you say is the order of yourselves in these canoes?
I think that maybe RinRin's spending some time with Baz. Just hanging out, chatting, like laying on her back, looking over her, looking back at him, kicking her feet.
That's an adorable mental image. Baz enjoys the time that he spends with RinRin, but as time goes on, he becomes more and more melancholy. You know, the word that I can say.
Is Summerwise still here?
Yeah, Summerwise follows you around.
I feel like Teshvael would go up to, like, who does Summerwise flock to frequently?
He spends a lot of his time around RinRin, but during the day he kind of just flies around, keeping close, chasing after mice in the underbrush or small birds.
I feel like Teshvael would go up to RinRin while you still had Summerwise in the morning, and would just approach and say, "You clearly are the most blessed out of all of us."
Why?
It motions towards Summerwise. One of the small creators rides with you.
The small creators?
Yes. My people believe that the world was created by 3 different dragons. One of them being the great and glorious Kyber. But all dragons, in their own right, have some sort of, well, luck to them.
Oh.
One such as this size that chooses you over all others proves that you truly have been blessed.
Well, that's a very nice thing to think about. I didn't know that they're part of the creators.
And Teshvael nods knowingly, and he will extend a hand out towards Summerwise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he'll like have
He's
a
okay.
little bit of a treat as well.
Like a small morsel
Yeah.
of food or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll gobble that down and express curiosity at you, kind of appreciation, but mostly curiosity.
And then I feel like in Draconic, Tesh would just start being like, "Who's the best? You are. Use that stinger full of poison on some small mouse and just go to town."
It's like, you're right, I am the best.
And Tesh is like just absolutely loving the fact that this small dragon is currently on him. Like, if you've seen cat people, it is that for Tesh and pseudo dragons.
Yes, absolutely.
Did you also know that I am traveling with royalty?
Why, of course, you're traveling with me.
Are you a royalty?
Yes.
Really?
Nods like, do people really not know of House de Falarin?
No.
That will change soon.
Well, I'm sorry if I have not been talking to you with the right reverence.
I appreciate the commonalities that you choose to use towards me. I think it's very nice. And besides, I have yet to achieve my masterwork. There is really nothing other than a name that separates me from, well, the common folk.
I see. Well, this is Lord Finkelton, and she she parts her hair, and a mouse pops out of her shoulder. He is a mouse, but he's probably royalty too.
And Tesh will just give a very exaggerated bow. A pleasure to meet you, your lordship.
He squeaks and then kind of goes back into her outfit.
While you are having this conversation, Baz, and followed shortly by everyone, hear a hissing sound. At this point in the river, you are kind of in some shallower water, trees and small islands or banks of patches of land, and you see some crocodiles slip into the water, and they're making their way towards your guys' boats.
When Baz hears hissing, he goes, "Is Hassan awake?"
Always,
I don't think that's
Baz.
him. Ah!
That's not Hassan snoring.
Hassan's going to. How many of these can I use? This is choose a beast. I'm gonna use speak with animals on myself.
Okay.
And to the crocodiles. Alligators?
Crocodiles.
Crocodiles. Make an intimidation check. He
Okay.
goes, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah, go ahead, roll it.
Fuck yeah. What's my charisma at? Plus 22.
Hell yeah.
Hassan
You
just
see-
opens his mouth and starts making crocodile hissing noises.
Yes, exactly that. Like these, like a few of them, like have popped out of the water and just doing that thing as they swim up behind your boat since you guys are in the rear, and you see one just like snap its mouth shut and quickly like dive under the water.
You ever see an alligator do like the threat display where it like rumbles and then the water starts splashing? I imagine that like Hassan opens his mouth and that sound comes out and the water around the canoe just starts going.
If not, I could just use Druidcraft to do that.
Yeah.
I'll help
does
out
that
with
take a spell
minor
slot?
illusion.
Cantrip.
Okay, yeah, I'd say like in conjunction the intimidation check and a little bit of druidcraft, you see these crocodiles who thought they had an easy meal. All they would have to do is tip the boat over, just duck back underwater and swim away. Yeah, but
Reminding me, RinRin, don't go sniffing any flowers.
What do you have? He is finding the loudest things.
Leave
Wait.
Summerwise alone.
he did nothing wrong.
There's a giant screw. A giant screw.
What the fuck?
I don't
just
know,
glad-
man.
I'm just glad it's not my cat for once.
Hey,
Don't go sniff. What do you mean don't sniff flowers? I like flowers.
Apparently, there are some that will implant something into your brain that will kill you and then take it over.
What?
Welcome to Chult, I guess.
I didn't have those where I grew up. Alright, so I won't smell no flowers.
Particularly, they have a yellow hue to them.
they
Okay.
are a kind of like a yellow orchid, maybe. Yeah, like that.
Aw.
And they got like little purple splotches, all like veins almost in them.
Okay, well, I want to do that then. I'll write that down. Don't. No. Yellow flowers.
Baz is going to pick his way across the canoes and get up next to Hassan and point at his journal and say, have you wouldn't happen to have been keeping track of what day it is in there, have you? I've completely lost it.
Flips to yesterday's date. Relay it to Baz.
GM, is that anywhere close to the date that I'm looking for?
Oh, it was yesterday.
Oh, shit. Baz's eyes kind of widen and he just clutches at his chest.
What is the matter, Baz?
Everything's fine.
I
Are you
sniff at
having
you.
a medical condition, Baz?
Have
Do
you
need me
fallen
to give
ill?
you a
Yeah, maybe.
once over?
Everybody on the canoe just like, what's wrong, Baz?
What's wrong, Baz? Are you scared, Baz?
I swear
I
to
don't-
God.
Just give
All of
him
you
some
people need to
space.
stop
Maybe
looking at me right now.
just don't look at the. RinRin's gonna like stand in front of him because we're on the front boat, right? And you guys are on the back boat. Or are we all on the same boat?
Same
You're
boat.
all in the same boat.
Okay.
Same boat.
RinRin is just gonna stand kind of between them, but still looking at Bass. But just so everyone else isn't looking at him. Are you going to die? She squishes his face. Are you going to die?
Yeah, eventually.
Well, what are you doing right now?
Probably dying.
Do you need something?
Yeah.
What?
Can I go talk to Hassan for a little bit with some patient confidentiality?
Oh yes, of course. And she removes her hands, like skips to the other side of the boat.
So if it's like canoe rules and we all have to
Yeah,
sit
no.
one-on-one, I imagine
it's like rocking dangerously.
No, I imagine it's like Tesh is in front, and then it's RinRin, because RinRin said that they were leaning back on Baz, so Baz would be third, and then Hassan would be in the middle, and then Azaka would be anchor.
Yeah, and Azaka's just back there like,
Yeah, Tesh is
another
up
day with
front.
these assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So RinRin just shift up closer to Tesh, and then boom.
Yes.
Dr.
Like,
Patient.
like uncomfortably close, like right up on him. Don't listen to what they're saying.
I'll do my best not to. You know, you
Maybe
actually smell nice.
Are you surprised? But do you not see me cleaning myself all the time?
No, it's just that, listen, we've been in the jungle for quite some time. It's just surprising you've kept it up. Good job.
Do you want me to clean you too? It's not like an intimacy thing. It's nothing like that. It's just like a friendship thing.
Okay.
Solid.
That's what
RinRin
friends do.
RinRin starts to clean Teshvael. Like, yeah, the rough tongue.
The rough tongue. Gross. Anyway, in the back of the boat with Azaka, like you look at Azaka and she puts on earmuffs, I guess.
You see Hassan go into his bag, pull out some rubber gloves, pulls out an otoscope.
I'm gonna save you some time here, buddy. You wouldn't happen to know anything about I don't know, like a Geas spell?
Oh. Arcana?
I mean, you can. I'm willing to just give it to you that you're
Cool.
somewhat studied in it.
Yes,
Are you
it's-
proficient at all in Arcana?
No, but I have a +4 in it, so.
How
Oh,
is it
okay.
pronounced? Because I looked it up and nobody on the internet
Geas?
can agree.
It's either or, I think.
Is this like the GIF argument?
Well,
yeah, I think so. In the medical community.
wait, no, anime can solve this. What, RJ, is it Code Geass?
It's Code Geass.
Done. That's his ability in the show, is the gaze.
We've got
All right, it's
Power of
Geas.
God and anime on our side, so let's do this.
Sorry.
That came up in our last game.
Chaos?
No, the Power of God and anime thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
It's,
wonder why.
I see. But we're gonna call it Chaos from now
it
on?
wasn't me, actually. It's a compulsion spell. And
Just
to my
nodding.
knowledge, it shouldn't kill you if you were to violate it.
Well, technically, I don't
Unless you
think.
have something else you need to tell me.
I mean, like, technically not, but the exact wording, like, technically that's been fulfilled. But I've got this tightness in my chest, and like the world is just dragging me down. And I feel like I'm dying.
What was the nature of the Gaia spell that was put on you? The exact wording.
Well, by such and such date, Nadeza has to die.
I'm sorry, once more for the people in the back.
He's going to like you see him peek around Hassan over at RinRin to make sure she's not listening. And he gets closer and says, by such and such date, Nadeza has to die.
Interesting.
But he's dead, so...
Were there
Shouldn't
any
be happening like
stipulations
that,
then? Were they supposed to be by your hand?
It didn't necessarily say that. They try and make these things a bit open-ended for creative solutions.
Well, then I wouldn't worry about that in the Gaia spell then.
Why do I feel like I'm dying?
Guilt.
What is that?
It's when you feel really bad about something happening.
Oh my god, I feel like that all the time.
You feel guilty because Nodaza was more or less your friend.
What do you have to cast to make it go away?
You need to look into yourself and you need to forgive yourself. Tell yourself that it was another job.
I've never done that in my life.
Introspection is hard. Sometimes things come to light that you never knew were there. And sometimes it might break you. And he'll smile.
Baz just turns around and tries to come to grips with this as his life now. Oh, he turns around. You're not mad at me for, being an assassin and never telling you.
I'm a little upset you didn't tell me in the first place. I could have used your skills.
Well, now you know. And your skills have been very beneficial to me thus far, so I'd be happy to continue this mutually beneficial relationship.
Agreed.
He reaches out his hand as though he's like...
He does the slow, plucks a gloved finger by, the middle and slowly snaps it off before reaching over and shaking.
I sure hope those aren't disposable gloves.
Yeah, it's okay. I washed them.
Great. And Baz just looks forward with 1,000-eye stare, or 1,000 yards. I say that every time. 1,000-yard stare in his eye, just kind of okay.
Hassan's gonna pat him on the back. I can fix things with scalpel or a saw, but this is going to be all on you, Baz.
Great.
Good luck.
You look forward and it's just RinRin just... Your tongue is very rough.
That's so it can get between your hairs on your arms and your legs.
Oh god, she's tenderizing him.
Summerwise is just sitting on the front of the canoe, watching you.
She gets to the hair and she's like...
It's the
Did I do it? Was that good?
Springy business.
Fantastic.
It's longer than she expects.
I've seen that so many times.
It takes the entire day plus the evening, as you guys did last time, traveling down the river, kind of taking shifts, people in the front sleeping while people in the back row, and people in the back sleeping while people in the front row. And you do this throughout the night, and in the early morning hours of the next day, you start to pick up that statue that you had saw. What was it, like almost 10 or so days ago? A large, like 80-foot tall statue of a human man sitting with a crocodile hoisted on its back, and in front of it are the remains of Camp Righteous, decaying in the elements of Chult.
To the scouts, Hassan is going to say, when last we were here, there were reports of goblins being in the area.
Righto, and they'll have their guns out ready. Their bayonets are fixed and ready to go.
All of them are Captain Price.
They are all Captain Price. You are able to bring your canoes to shore, and the scouts and tribal warriors immediately go about dragging the lumber and everything up onto the shoreline. Azaka stands at the shore, keeping a watchful eye out as Undril commands these people. What would you like to do?
We need to scout and make sure that there are no undead, right?
There are no undead. There are no more goblins in the area.
Right. You're not afraid of undead, right?
No.
Good.
No.
Neither am I.
Well, excellent. I was going to say we should establish a perimeter.
Okay, how do we do that?
Well, we just start making a horseshoe-like pattern. It's against a cliff face, right? Where this statue is.
Right?
Yeah, so and you can see why Undril was suggesting this place. It's not necessarily against a cliff face; it's just a very steep escarpment that it seems that the statue is actually sitting on, and the hill rises behind it and kind of meets its back. But it goes about 50 feet in the air, and then all spread out to the south of it, south of it is this pretty plateau-like hill that has a pretty good location, it would seem.
Well, if we set ourselves up in a horseshoe-like pattern, separating ourselves 15 feet from each other, we can establish a good, at least a radius around where we need to go. And then if we just move forward, then we can make sure the area is secure.
On the... So where you pull ashore, it's pretty close to where the feet of the statue are. On the north side are some tents that are ripped to shreds, torn apart. There are two command tents directly at the base of the feet of the statue, similarly torn but still standing at least, and a few more tents scattered to the south with what was probably a medical tent slash shrine to Torm is sitting right up to the base of the escarpment, but that has been essentially burned to the ground.
One of us should go and check out those tents.
Well, I'm the fastest, so I should do it.
Speed might not necessarily win us the day. We're going to need somebody who's stealthier. And Tesh just looks in Baz's direction.
Baz is like busy just kind of looking contemplatively and kind of like morosely up at the statue of alligator and man. And then like he feels Tesh's eyes on him and he just turns around and looks at him just like, what?
Ah, Baz, exactly the man I was looking for. And Tesh approaches you. Would it be all right? Do you feel comfortable going out by yourself and investigating those tents, just in case?
I'm never comfortable. But yeah, sure.
Would you like some assistance?
Just keep an ear out. I'll scream if something happens.
Well, I was going to suggest I have some control over the shadows here.
Go on.
I can make you invisible for up to an hour.
I see.
Do you
Alright.
feel like this would be beneficial?
Hells yes.
All right then, I just need one thing from you. And Tesh will kind of like maneuver the side of his armor so you can see his collarbone, and there is this weird, it almost looks like a tattoo in terms of coloration, but looking at it you can tell that it's not artificially put there. Like, this is just a weird, very complex, very ornate looking birthmark. I just need you to touch this.
With this?
If you would like. Finger, open palm.
Do I gotta take off the gloves?
No. Not unless you don't want to.
Just reaches out slowly towards it with like one finger.
Yeah. And as you touch it, you see that it glows in this very it's like a stormy kind of blue color that seems to just begin at the center point and ripples out in terms of magic. And as it ripples, you just see your personage begin like the all of the shade that's being brought down by the trees that has kind of been placed upon you. You see those shaded areas just become see-through and begin to spread until your entire personage is just invisible.
Thump.
Oops,
Nice.
Indeed. You are invisible.
There's a
What would you
disembodied
like to do?
Baz voice that just goes, heh, nice.
Nice.
Then he's going to go and investigate those tents.
Okay.
Stealth check with advantage.
Yes.
Well, that's good. Because I definitely would not have wanted that to be at disadvantage. 26.
Fantastic. Just going from tent to tent, looking what's laid out and around. Absolutely. You start going north to the greatest collection of tents. And like I said earlier, they have been slashed apart either by bladed weapons or some of them have these kind of claw marks, but like a human hand claw tearing through these tents. And the rummaging around that you do, however, doesn't yield much. It seems most of the valuable personal effects have already been ransacked. And the most you get is rummaging around one tent, a very brightly colored green snake rears its head up, but doesn't know what startled it, and looks around confused, not knowing what it's supposed to be striking, and then slithers back underneath a overturned, busted cot. You look nearby the tents, and it seems there is a set of latrines, which normally you would avoid, but something catches your eye, and approaching one of them, it looks like there is a body that was missed. A human male in the regalia of the Order of the Gauntlet, however completely soiled, is dead, lying there. It looks like he was trying to crawl back out of the latrine. Presumably he climbed into it. And what had caught your eye was a small brown sack with a collection of gems that had spilled out on the ground. And clutched in this guy's arms as he's in the pit is a shotgun. And you can see he has a bandolier of shells on his chest.
He's dead for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best as you can tell, he is dead.
All right. Baz is going to approach carefully. and just as a precaution, he's going to jam his knife into the man's spinal cord, just in case he decides to become animated and turn into a Zambo.
Like the perfect zombie checking technique. You get behind it and then just stab it a few times. And if it doesn't move, that means it's already dead. And that's how you play Resident Evil. You stab it, your knife sinks easily into it. It looks like it's been decaying for at least a month.
I'll just leave the knife in him while I grift him for stuff.
Yeah, so you the thing that caught your eye, these gems or jewels, is a small pouch containing 5 gems, 10 gold pieces each.
5 gems, 10 gold pieces each.
And then a shotgun. We'll go with the old double barrel.
Okay. Does it have any bullets?
Crack it open. Inside are 2 unspent shells, and then on his chest is this bandolier of another 6 shotgun shells.
8 total shells. All right. Oh, you meant shells as in shotgun shells, not seashells. God.
Yes.
I'm so fucking stupid.
Bullets. I'll just use the general bullet term. These are magical bullets that can fit into any gun.
I was all like, wow, this guy's got a beach theme. That's fun.
I am much sorry. Meanwhile, the guards and the tribesmen are getting very quickly to work. They want to try and set this up as soon as possible, with a guard and a tribesman keeping an eye out as the rest are pulling these logs up the side of the escarpment. RinRin, what are you doing?
I'm looking at some animals that are up in the trees. She's trying to talk to them, and like she's not trying to like converse with them, but she is like talking at them and telling them how cute they are. And
while you're doing this, Summerwise will like swoop down onto the branch and scare some of the way. And some branches tumble down, and you look at your feet. There are a collection of let's call it like brown and green flowering I guess flowers growing at the base of this tree. Yeah, I know. I'm a master of wordplay. Yes, there's a collection of these interesting flowers.
He didn't bring them to me. They were.
Yeah, they're just growing at the base of this tree, and due to your familiarity with the area, you and I would also say because of your use at trying to heal small animals, you recognize these as Ryath roots, which you know that if you consume a Ryath root a day, you keep the doctor at bay because they give you temporary hit points.
Oh, Hassan, come here. Come here, I want to show you something, please.
What's wrong, RinRin?
No, nothing's wrong. I wanted to show you these. These are Ryath roots. They're like a healing sort of thing. You're supposed to eat them, and they help you get strong, or they keep you strong. It's like I know that some other places they say like you should eat an apple, or you should drink lots of water. This is one of those things that if you do like eat it, you stay healthy. I thought you'd like to know.
He'll bend down, pluck one, and pop it in his mouth.
All right, you gain 2d4 temporary hit points. I like this scientific chomp. Go ahead.
I'm immune to poison and being poisoned,
That's
so
true.
this is fine.
It does necrotic damage. Yeah.
Ah!
6 temporary.
Just fucking sticks it in his mouth.
This is poisonous. He falls over. Hassan's eyes, they would go wider if they could. but he will turn to RinRin. Good find, RinRin.
If she could blush.
There are 4 more usable routes here.
Could
We should-
I... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, do we know? Can we like hang on to them for a while, or is it like
Oh,
once
yeah,
you pick them?
absolutely.
Okay.
I was
You-
going to use
you
Druid
know
Craft
that
to
they-
like dry them like tea leaves.
Oh, if you make riot fruit tea, that would be so nice.
That's
Yay.
actually what I wanted to do.
All right. Yes, you can do this. You have 4 more hits of the root, if you will.
I could
Go-
smoke this? Hell yeah.
Hassan, I'll let you make a medicine check with this.
A 20.
Hell yeah. You can definitely tell the medical benefit of this, but you also know there's a medical drawback. Like she said, eat one a day, specifically every 24 hours. However, if you eat another one within 24 hours, you could suffer some poison from it. Too much of a good thing.
Mhm.
He tries to hide the quirk of a smile on the corner of his face. But RinRin probably catches it.
What? What?
No, I'm just amused, that's all.
Do I? Okay. Sorry, did I say something wrong?
Why would that amuse me?
I don't know. Sometimes you laugh when I do things wrong.
No, this one is amusing to me. Do you know what happens if you were to take more than one of these routes, RinRin?
Yeah, you get like a really upset stomach.
Exactly. I'm just amused at, well, everything in dosages. A poison could be someone's cure.
Yes, I guess it's kind of funny.
He'll pat her on the top of the head. Don't worry about it.
Her ears go back.
Meanwhile, Tesh, what are you doing?
Tesh, well, he thought that they were going to investigate the camp. So he is going to investigate the commander's tents, see if there's anything
Okay.
in there.
Yeah, you kind of sent Baz up to the north to investigate all the barracks tents.
Yeah.
There are these 2 commanders' tents in front of you. Again, they are pretty ripped apart, and also it seems they had been picked through before, whereas there were like tables with maps and charts you would assume in a regular commander's tent. The table's been flipped. Any old parchment has been actually, you've been here some time ago. You were at this tent talking to a commander very much like Commander Breakbone, except not the same guy. And you kind of flash back to that time. You remember how gung-ho and cocky they were. They had plenty of arms and armor and were raring for a fight. And looking around this tent, these giant gashes through the tent walls, blood dried and old, spilled on tabletops. You can tell they got that fight that they wanted, and their hubris was their downfall.
I think Tesh just sort of smiles to himself seeing all of this. And then he'll just begin like taking the tents down.
Okay.
If they're broken and ripped through, they're not going to be of any use anyway, so might as well at least get the canvas off, replace it with different canvas.
Yeah.
And then he's just going to keep his eye on because there's a tunnel right in between the
There
large
is
feet.
an opening
Yeah.
between the feet. It
He's-
is dark in there.
Yeah, he's just going to, like, while he's taking down the canvas, just be very wary of that tunnel.
Yeah. And while you're looking at it, Undril will approach you. It seems she was helping take down the materials and say, it kind of makes you wonder, right?
what's inside.
What could be in there?
All sorts of things. Mostly what I'm curious about is that if it were to be a resting place for ne'er-do-wells.
I mean, that definitely sounds like something that could happen. Like some sort of tomb.
I don't think it has an exit.
Well, one way in, one way out, I suppose.
Yes. Once we've secured the area.
They told us during orientation to, not try and raid any of these trapped areas, but I know so many adventurers just go here just for these things.
Well,
kind of makes me wonder.
How about this? Once everything's been taken care of and the camp's been secured, I can go and take a peek in it for you.
I'd find that quite interesting. Do be careful, though.
Oh, of course. We do have a doctor on staff, after all.
I, too, am a doctor.
2 doctors. Even better.
Meanwhile, Baz, you've cleared through the tents. You find an animal pen. And inside this animal pen, it seems like it was built probably for simple livestock, maybe pigs or goats. And inside is a curious creature. And let me find the correct description for it. It is a small, like flightless. I guess small is not necessarily the correct term, but you can tell this one's a small one. It is a small flightless bird. It's got a large wedge-shaped beak, like almost like an axe head, as its large beak, and it is pecking away at one of these like thatch walls. It seems like it got trapped in here at some point.
Is it actually like pecking at it, or is
no?
it
It's like
using
hammering.
its beak?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Do I know what this is? Can I make some sort of check for it?
Go ahead and make a nature check.
All right. Well, I think I got an 8.
Okay. You don't know what this is. You saw one while you were at Port Nanzru when you guys first got here. But it was in a the one that you saw was huge, like about 10 feet from ground up, and it was well contained. I don't think you talked to anyone about it though.
You said that it's small?
This one is very small, like a fledgling.
I don't like the way you said that. Are you like, you said there's only one of them in here?
Yeah, it looks like it probably like tumbled down the escarpment and bounced like a small flightless bird does into this pen, and is unable to find its way out.
So it looks like it's not supposed to be here.
No.
Like it's a wild animal that fell in accidentally.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm still invisible, right?
Yep.
For an hour.
I will not become uninvisible until such a time that I choose not to be or attack something, right?
Yeah, it's if you attack something or cast a spell, you actually don't get to choose not to be invisible because I'm focusing on the spell.
That's hilarious. Okay.
Does stabbing a dead body count as attacking?
I would say that's interacting with an object.
Yeah.
I will say that's interacting with an object too.
If it were a living creature. Maybe.
You didn't roll an attack roll.
Speaking of which, I take that knife back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And make a note to tell them to go burn that body later. I'm going to grab a stick and poke it.
Confused, it starts squawking.
Sorry.
Quack, 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 quack.
Oh, it's looking around trying to find.
And then goes back to hammering.
Huh. Interesting. Where'd you come from, little guy?
you're actually talking.
Yeah, I am.
The bodiless, disembodied voice speaking to a small bird. It again looks around confused, trying to figure out what is assailing it.
I'm gonna get out like some rations and toss it to it.
Okay. Yeah, just some normal rations. I think it'll kind of look at it like a chicken and start like pecking at it, but like because it's got this huge beak, it's kind of like just hammering to the ground and scooping up a bunch. Yeah.
Doing that thing where they like grab a bunch in the beak and then throw it back down their gullet.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
no,
Like
I love him. Sorry. I think that Baz has a brief moment of just sort of like, and then he looks around like he's trying to catch somebody like watching him slacking off on the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's all like, oh no, wait, I'm invincible. I can do whatever I want. I will open the gate and let the little thing out.
Okay. It was busy gobbling up. It looks around and sees a way out. And kind of like a bee that flies in through a window and doesn't know how it got there. It takes a few seconds before it realizes that is a way out.
It's so dumb.
And scrambles out of it and into the forest.
Ooh, before I let it out,
okay,
like completely,
go ahead.
I want to take that stick that I was using to poke it.
Yeah.
Put a ration on, tie a string to a ration, tie the other end of the string to the stick. It's in my my pack. I have a string. I can do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a little stick with with a ration at the end.
A carrot on a stick.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try and lead it back to camp.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you have a carrot on a stick. You open the gate. It goes towards the gate, sees the carrot on the stick, and follows you. Now, this is items that you are holding while you are invisible are also invisible, aren't they?
I can't stop being invisible. I think this thing's gonna have to just run to the woods
you
on me.
You could like toss it a carrot in front of it. If you
could always attack something inanimate.
I guess I could. I don't know if Baz is smart enough to figure that out.
Roll an Arcana check.
17.
Yeah, you're very aware that if you attack something while you are invisible, you'll become uninvisible.
All right, I'll do that. I guess I'll.
You're not gonna go mess with people? Come on.
This is the mischief that's in front of me, okay?
He's found his mischief and he will mischifize it.
I think that the thing that I attack is the fence. I attack the fence, and then I look down at my hands, see that I'm no longer invisible. Now, does Tesh know that I'm not invisible anymore?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
this is like 20 minutes later, maybe.
So there's like a
in the
short
time that it takes him to do all
I
the
haven't heard any
searching.
screaming. I'm sure it's fine.
There's a short montage of Baz like tying up this string and everything, and then like he breaks the fence, and then Tesh just kind of like looks up like,
And I think, Tesh, by this point, you can see over there, it's maybe like 50, 60 feet away, this pen, and you see Baz appear there holding a morsel of food on a stick, leading around a fledgling axebeak.
Come here, little fella.
Tesh just like tilts his head slowly and watches this unfold.
And he's just gonna lead him back to camp and go try to find either Hassan or RinRin to help him identify what this cute little fella is.
Okay.
Can RinRin see it while he's got the stick still?
No, absolutely. I think soon after, as he's leading it over, you hear a soft a squawking and see Baz holding out a stick. I'm like, come on, fella, come on. And it is an axebeak.
RinRin's eyes like just immediately dilate as she sees the thing on the stick, and she kind of like does that thing where she like might pounce, and she like kind of runs over to Baz, like looks at the stick, then looks up at Baz, and like,
Oh no!
sorry.
If he sees a woman running towards him, he's gonna freak out.
Oh yeah, she would look like she's in predator mode too, like with her ears back and everything.
So he goes, ah! And then he drops the stick and goes and hides behind a tree.
The
What
axe
is
stick
it?
immediately starts chomping down on the the morsel.
Can RinRin interact with this creature and start to sniff it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What are you? Oh, hello, little one. What are you doing? Can I pick it up?
I mean, it's although it's small, it's still about 2 feet in diameter. So
Still pick it up like a
you could
big
still
old cat.
definitely you pick it up like a really big dog or like a medium-sized dog.
Oh, come here. Hello. What is your name?
Squawk.
What is your name? Are you okay? Why won't you look at me?
Baz is gonna come creeping back out from behind his tree.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to scare you.
Oh no, it happens.
I just
You-
get
you-
like when I see dangly things, I get all like, oh.
I see.
He goes
Well,
back to pecking.
you have any idea what this thing is?
Yeah, it's an axe beak.
Oh, it's a cute little fella, isn't he?
Oh yeah, this is a baby. They got really big.
Like how big?
RinRin puts her hand over her head.
And that's not even half of it.
This
What
is
fun.
like a newborn.
Oh, my mum, she's off fighting things like this.
Really? In Cholt?
No,
Oh.
in the Underdark.
This is not from the Underdark though.
Yeah, no, it's like the Underdark version of these things.
Oh.
Wings doesn't remember what they're called.
Okay.
I don't
But-
either.
Where did you find this?
Oh, it was stuck in an animal pen.
Oh no, were there any others?
No, it's just this one.
Okay, well, let me give it a good once over and make sure he's not hurt, and then we'll figure out what to do because he's
Oh,
pretty small.
yeah. You did used to do this, didn't you?
Duh. A while ago, but yeah. RinRin starts to like check it.
Other than
The
malnourished, which
two of them crouch down together around this bird.
you are quickly fixing, it is in good health.
Are they carnivorous?
They are omnivorous.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Birds.
omnivorous. They're birds. They're burb.
Oh,
They
They're
like mutts.
opportunists.
yeah.
Mhm.
Don't. Why are you being like this? Stop. It's mine.
Meanwhile, while they're dealing with this, Hassan, the two highest passive perception ones are busy. So the next highest passive perception person, you have been keeping an eye out, and from time to time, the entrance to that how you say statue has been catching your eye, and at one point you're just at a right angle to see into it. And you actually notice a few small bodies in there. And from this distance, it's kind of hard to make out, but you think based on the size of them that they might, and because you were looking out for this in the first place, they look like goblin bodies.
Hassan
while-
will. Oh, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, while you're noticing this, I think this is a good time to go ahead and take our break.
Yeah. So I would like to say thank you to Tyler for running this game. I know that sounded like we were going to end, but it wasn't. I just really appreciate it. I love this game. We're going to try and be back in 5 to 10 minutes. So don't go no place unless it is to grab a food, grab a drink, grab a friend, or possibly go to indooradventure.redbubble.com. Pick yourself up something nice, and we'll see you guys shortly. All right, everybody. See you soon. And like an old friend, we have returned. Hello, everybody, and welcome. We have just gotten done with the taming of the Axebeak, yet to be named, at least on camera. Tyler, take us away. Said that Hassan was seeing something nasty.
Hassan, peering into the statue, noted some small bodies, possibly goblinoid. Meanwhile, RinRin and Baz are taming an Axebeak. Go ahead, both of you roll me animal handling checks. Or I guess one of you animal handling with the other helping.
I'll assist. Though my animal handling isn't terrible, it's better than my nature.
That is a naughty 20.
Hell yeah. You are making an Axebeak, friend.
Yay! This is collect the animals game, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Tomb Annihilation, meet pets.
It's
yeah.
the pets expansion.
Feed it, pet it, give it kisses. Explain to it my name, even though I know it doesn't understand. I'm gonna name it. Come back to me on that, but
We're gonna expect a name.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as well, it's been not too long, less than an hour, and the soldiers are making good time setting up up on top of this hill. It's like 25 feet up this escarpment. They have drug up a few logs, and much like the primitive nature building show, they are essentially making the beginnings of a corner of a fort here. Their plan being to set this up kind of like a palisade by itself, so they have a safe place to stay, and then they will expand from there.
Hassan is going to roll his shoulders and use his beast shape ability to turn into a black-scaled panther.
Nice.
And he's going to stalk over to the door.
To the entryway of the statue.
Stealth check?
Yeah, go ahead.
I've come up with a name. His name is
Yes.
Tom.
Tom? Is that spelled with an
Tomahawk.
H?
Tomahawk! I got a natural 20 till 26.
Okay. Sorry, I have to write down tomahawk in my notes. My notes are just scrapped. Tomahawk.
We haven't sexed it yet.
Baz tells it's gender neutral.
Yeah, it's very gender neutral.
Baz tells RinRin a story about how his brother used to pick the sickest, weakest, smallest spider from the bunch and then raise it to become the biggest in the brood, just to prove a point to their mother.
I think I would like your brother.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
Feeds Tomahawk more. For the audio cast, he just looks really sheepish and just, oh, you.
Oh, you. Yes, natural 20 as you stalk as a panther does. In fact, Azaka watches and hangs back, but is ready to intervene if anything pops off. And as are you just going towards the front?
Towards the front and then sniffing around.
Mm-hmm. The front of, or like the entrance hallway to this thing is concealed by some vines, and you can see that nature has blown in. The ground is muddy, covered in vines, a few flowers or whatnot that blew in. And beyond all this, you see the two bodies of goblinoid corpses about 20 feet in. And then beyond them, you see a ledge. And actually looking up, you see this thing is actually pretty tall, this hallway. The entranceway itself is only like 10 feet high, but the ceiling disappears up into darkness about 20 or 30 feet up. And looking back, you see a few ledges and a wall but like 60 feet back. And sniffing around and looking, you see multiple goblinoid footprints leading into this entryway in this muck and mud. And you see two that were you assume the lead, because they're the only two that have gotten about 5 feet in, and you see that they slide very abruptly to the right. And perusing this, you can tell that this is a pit trap. The floor, you test it, will give away underweight, and peering inside as you test it, there are some more goblinoid corpses at the bottom of the pit.
Hassan is going to grab one of the goblins that were in the doorway and start dragging it back to camp.
The goblins that you saw are another 20 feet back past this pit trap. And there are some at the bottom of the trap, like 20 feet down.
If he'll look over to Azaka and like do like the cat like point, like head nod over into the area.
Okay.
Like just to come over.
Okay. Yeah, she approaches. She actually has her bow out now, and says, "What is it?" And looks in and sees these corpses.
Paws at the floor, tilting it slightly.
And she looks down, sees more corpses inside. Standard traps for a place like this. What is it that you need?
He will roll his shoulders again and stand back up to Hassan form.
Okay.
What do you think is in here, Azaka?
Many of these temples or ruins or what have you have things that ancient Choltons deemed gifts from their gods. Although Uptuo, the Cholton god, has been gone for a long time, there could still be some gifts inside.
Are you up for a spot of archaeological requisition?
I assume this was the main part of my job?
Right. Call the others over, please.
She will like whistle over at you three. And it seems like actually like the whole dungeon delving thing, like she said, she's worked with people a lot before. This is something she's pretty used to.
I feel like Teshvael would, if Summerwise is nearby, like extend his arm out with a snack for Summerwise to like crawl onto him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and then just walks over with his new best friend.
Yeah, Summerwise, who was harassing some small birds in the trees and also kind of looking hungrily at Tomahawk. You call him down and he alights on your shoulder and transmit the idea of a bountiful meal, but once it's eaten a little bit more.
I think Tesh will just kind of like chuckles to himself at this idea and says, no, they seem to care for it far too much here. And just like keeps feeding Summerwise.
He considers maybe when they get tired of it then.
Tesh like nods like, oh yeah. No, that's... Oh yeah.
RinRin and Baz, you hear Azaka whistle you over and see that her and Hassan are at the entrance to this statue.
Are we ready to go inside? Is that what's happening?
This temple or ruin, whatever it is filled with traps. So I suggest we take the utmost care when traversing into it. And he will like push his staff down on the floor to like
Do we all have dark vision?
It's a full party of dark vision, I believe.
Now.
Now it is. It wasn't before.
Standing in the entrance of the building, the cave, Baz is going to pull off his sunglasses and tuck them into his pocket, and he's just going to stand there with steepled fingers and look inside, and his eyes are just like, wow, like superior dark vision, baby. Let's
Hell
do
yeah.
this.
What are you doing with Tomahawk?
Oh no, we can't bring a baby in here. I don't know where his mother is.
in the underdock, probably. Oh, we're talking about the bird.
We can only hope.
What? So do you think that the soldiers will keep track of him? I just don't want him to wander off and then get hurt.
Why don't you just put him back in the pen where you found him?
I kind of broke that.
Well,
Literally broke it.
what should we do? Can we keep it in a tent or something?
You could always leave it with Azaka.
No,
Zaka's not coming with us?
Just we can see the wall at the end of this place, right?
Yeah, you can see way down. Although these ledges, you can see one ledge and just barely see another ledge beyond it. And then even further back, you can see the wall. But don't know what's at ground floor up there.
We'll still be relatively nearby. It shouldn't be too big of an issue.
Zaka, are you okay with watching Tomahawk?
She looks from Hassan to RinRin and, not wanting to disappoint RinRin, nods her head.
Thank you. You can feed him as much as you want as long as he's not starting to come out of his nostrils. Because that's when you know they're overeating.
Okay,
I didn't
RinRin.
know that.
That's the
Why-
same thing with kittens.
Why don't we leave him with one of the scouts? I would like Azaka's expertise in excavation, as it were.
Okay.
Is our half-orc friend named Undril?
Undril. UNDRIL.
Undril. I keep on
They didn't
saying
come
it.
with us, so she didn't come with us.
No,
She's
she
not
did.
here?
Oh,
She's
she
here.
did!
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Will she watch Tomahawk for us?
I guess I can.
Thank you
The-
so much. We won't be gone very long. I just don't want him to wander off and then get eaten or something.
Okay, yeah. I'll look after the little guy. She pats it very gingerly on the head. Takes some more food.
Be careful of its beak.
Yeah, it looks dangerous.
Not at this age, but if he grows up, then he'd be a real dangerous thing. Oh my gosh, what if we could ride him into a battle?
She looks warily at the tree line, but doesn't see any movement.
Yeah, if he starts to squawk out or something, maybe push him towards. I don't want. If his mom is nearby, I feel like he would have been calling out for her while he was here before. But just keep an eye out. I don't think that the mom is nearby. It seems like if she was, she would have come and got them a long time ago. But I don't know. So.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll look after him for you. Let me know what's inside here, though.
I will. I'll give you a full recount when we get out, okay? All right, guys. Are we ready?
So she leads off Tomahawk, and you guys stand in front of this pit trap. When Hassan was pushing it down, you can see that there are some ledges on either side. But you can also tell that because of all the mud and detritus here, it's probably kind of slippery.
And they all lean towards one side? Like
Yeah,
all
so
the
it
footprints?
leans. You can tell that while 2 footprints went onto the trap and then slid in, some others followed the side.
I'll follow the side.
Okay. I need you to make me a acrobatics check to keep your footing.
Fuck yeah.
Dex-based paladin.
That's a 7.
7 total.
Yeah.
You do not keep your footing.
This place sucks balls!
You as you are stepping on it, like on this corner, I'm assuming no one's like standing at the other end, like holding down the strap. You lose footing a little bit and fall 20 feet into this pit below. But you have feather fall on you at all times. So you float gently to the bottom where there are 2 goblin corpses, and getting a better look at them. You've probably run into a few of the Cholton goblins, and these are much the same. They have these carved wooden masks that they wear on their face, like about like half the size of their body. And they have like different creatures like Triceratops, or one has let's say one has an axe beak, in fact, mask carved.
I will take the axe beak mask.
Okay, yeah. Crudely carved and painted with who knows what, but it's got like that orange beak color on the beak part of it. Everyone, Teshvael floated to the bottom of a pit.
Oh my gosh, Teshvael, are you okay?
Of course.
Do you want me to come down and get you?
I feel like a rope might be a little bit more helpful in this situation.
But I can climb really well. I can't pull you up. I'm not that strong.
That's true, but if you climb down here, then I would still have the issue of trying to get back up.
Azaka lets down some rope down to you.
Actually, he thinks about it and says, how about you get to the other end of the tunnel, or the other end of where this pit is, and then lower down the rope, and then I don't have to worry about trying to cross over this place as well. I can just come up on your side.
That it's very smart, and she will try and cross now. Go gadget Azaka. She gets good enough. She makes her way across to the other side and tosses down the rope. I'm assuming someone is holding the trap open.
Yeah, and then I'll climb up.
Yeah, she is built like a tank, so she can hold her footing there very easily. Didn't pull you up.
Yeah. I got a 16 on an athletics check to just shimmy on up.
Perfect. When you get to the other side, you see this hallway extends for another 20 feet, ends in a about above head height ledge rather, and there are 2 goblinoids in front of you, and they are not whole. They are halved, as if something had sliced them completely in 2.
Be easier for you two to go into the hole and then back out the other end.
Okay.
Tesh shrugs.
I mean, Baz also has feather fall on him, so you can just cannonball in and float down.
I have a climb speed. I'll climb the wall.
Yep, sounds good.
I'm not gonna test that. I'll try and ease myself down and then probably like do this thing where he like grips the side, turns around, and then like lowers himself.
Right.
And then when he lets go, he just like
He
Hassan
expects to
lets
fall a
go
little
the
bit
other
quicker.
side and then walks away.
Seals him down
Shunk.
there.
Yep.
Hassan, what are you doing to cross? Azaka will open the other side for you and pull you out, Baz.
Nice.
And Baz and RinRin, when you get to the other side, you see these same halved goblins, and both of you immediately notice the kind of holes in the walls, or I guess slits, and the shiny, rusty metal of scythes are glinting in the very little light, and you can tell that these probably act as
Yep.
slashadores.
Yeah. I'm gonna look for a trigger of some sort.
Go ahead and roll perception.
I'm gonna help Hassan if I can.
21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
You're sure you would see a trigger, but either the entire floor is a pressure plate or something else activates these.
I will relay that to the party.
Hassan is going to wave RinRin away and sigh, as he doesn't like doing this, but he turns into a giant wolf spider. And then he'll skitter along the wall towards them.
Marvelous.
Baz nearly backs into the trap.
So Hassan as a wolf spider hanging onto the wall, and the four of you are standing in front of this 20-foot hallway. And Azaka now will, once you relay, you don't see an obvious trigger. She takes a minute. There are legends about places like this. I told you about Man and Crocodile. Many ruins act in a way in accordance with their legends. And from my experience, there are ways to circumvent the ruins' defense.
Hassan climbs to the ceiling and then puts a spindly leg out into the corridor.
I mean, the ceiling is 30 feet up, well above. In fact, as you climb up to the ceiling, you can see the end of the hallway. And at the end of the hall is a simple wooden door with a few symbols on it in a 4x4 pattern. And on the ledge, the first ledge, is that same pattern on the floor.
Huh, interesting. Tesh, have you heard the story of Man and Crocodile?
I believe I was given insight to it last time I was at Camp Righteous. Summerwise, would you mind being my crocodile?
All right. Summerwise nods, and much like the statue itself, sits kind of just on your shoulders a little bit, head peeking over.
I have never felt more blessed in my life.
You are so blessed, my man.
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag blessed.
Pseudo
Pseudo-dragons, are they small or tiny?
They are tiny.
Yeah.
He's like a cat.
Yeah. I need to look up one thing real quick.
And this is how
I swear to the gods, if you kill this thing.
Nice. So Summerwise is on your back imitating Man and Crocodile.
I take a step forward.
Okay, you step forward into this hallway and nothing happens.
I just keep walking.
You get to the end of this last 20-foot stretch of corridor and are at a 7-foot wall. and Summerwise, sitting on like kind of now on your shoulders, can see over the wall and relays to you the image of these symbols in a 4x4 pattern on the floor in front of you. Yeah.
I will give Summerwise some meat treats. We've been giving him fruit a lot, but like, boy needs protein.
He do need that protein, and he do love that protein.
We're gonna use all our rations on pets.
You know,
It's fine. I have Goodberry.
I know. I'm just. We're gonna give them all the people food.
there were these two muscle builders who went to the afterlife, and one of them was like, "Bro, I could use a protein shake," and the other guy's like, "Bro, don't you know there's no way in hell?"
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, everybody. So that was Tomb of Annihilation. We will not be playing this game anymore.
Can I give the DM inspiration?
You can, but then they can use that against us. So you
Good.
shouldn't.
Good. I hope we all die.
RinRin and Baz, you are all still on the first 20 feet of this. Azaka standing next to you.
No, RinRin's got a climbing speed, right?
Yes.
So she can get across. Is Azaka here? Azaka's here, right?
Azaka's here.
Azaka,
She looks down at you.
You want to be my crocodile?
Can I
Do you want me to ride you? And she gives you that.
I've got some noodly arms.
She
I was
lifts
thinking
you
on-
up, like arms out, lifts you up, brings you over, and puts you on her shoulders.
Yes, ma'am.
And with a great amount of confidence, walks across this space, and nothing happens.
I would like to climb on the walls, please.
You climb next to a black scaled wolf spider. Both of you want to be on the same wall, different walls?
Same wall.
Okay. At the far end of the first part of the hallway is a ledge, and with Summerwise on your back, it's still pretty easy because he's a tiny creature. Azaka finds a little bit more difficulty climbing up onto the next ledge, and though she does this at advantage because, Baz, are you helping her climb?
I can. Am I still on her back?
Do you want to be?
Tesh will assist.
Okay, yeah. She climbs up, and you guys are at the next part of this next 20-foot stretch of hallway. And Baz, sitting on Azaka's shoulders, you look down, see this 4x4 pattern. You look up, you see a 4x4 pattern on this wooden door. And you also spy in the bottom left-hand corner of this pattern, that symbol is glowing slightly.
Huh. There's a 4x4 pattern on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 4x4 pattern on the ceiling. No, on the door.
On the door.
Is it
and
the same pattern?
They match.
They match. And there is one rune in that pattern on the door that is glowing?
Yes, in the bottom left-hand corner. Also, you see on the ground amongst this 4x4 pattern are two very charred corpses of goblins.
Do we know... Could I roll an insight check to see why the one symbol's glowing?
Go ahead.
All right.
From your position, you can't see it.
Okay.
Because the ledge ahead of you just blocks that last row.
All right.
But Summerwise, after having this pointed out, sees it and relays the message to you.
Okay. Well, I'm asking this pseudo dragon to spot things for me, so it makes sense that I got a 6 with insight.
Yeah, he just relays that it's glowing. Maybe it's a very special symbol. You don't recognize it. It's just a few lines and squigglies.
My God.
I'm gonna use a stick to poke the symbol that would correspond to the glowing one on the door.
Okay. You are on Azaka's back, unless you want to climb down.
I will climb down from Azaka's back, thanking
Okay.
very graciously for the assistance.
You walk over and poke the symbol, and nothing happens.
No change.
You. No change. You poking that symbol.
I'm going to very carefully stick my foot out and just touch that symbol, then pull it back.
Very momentarily, when you touch it, you didn't move too far forward. You can just barely. Once you got down, you can't see that bottom row. You just know which one it was, but you can see the next bottom row, and you touch that, and the second one in illuminates and then goes out. Very
And
faint
then the bottom
glowing.
one illuminates again.
You still can't see the bottom one.
Oh.
From your vantage point.
So from where I am, I can't see where to
The
go.
bottom row. Yeah. But on Azaka's shoulders, you could see which one was illuminated.
Oh, interesting. RinRin, can you see everything from up there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Call you out right when you put something in your mouth.
RinRin, RinRin and Hassan, you really have to like squint to tell. It's like the vision test where you have to see if something's 3D or not. It's just it's a bit more of a pain to pick out the difference between which ones are glowing or not.
Mm-hmm. Yes, what am I supposed to do? What do you want to know?
Tell me which ones are glowing. I'm gonna try to step on each one.
Be super careful, okay? I don't want to see you get hurt.
You and me
Spider
both.
chittering.
Right. Go for that one.
He's going to follow her directions as best
Yep.
as he can.
As you move from the first row to the second row to the third row, let's say it's the second one in again, and then the fourth row, you have to like lunge over a bit because it's the fourth one over. But as you step on each one, you get to the other side, and all four are lit up on the door.
Right foot on blue.
You did it!
From where you are now, you can't see the door anymore, so RinRin has to let you know that those four are illuminated.
What do I see from where I am?
There is a 7-foot ledge in front of you. And being
Going
over
up?
here, yeah. So much like the first part of the hallway, it ends in a ledge. You have to climb up, and here's another ledge that you have to climb up.
All right, there's a ledge here. I'm going to try and climb it.
Go ahead and actually don't. It's easy enough to climb without anything weighing you down. And you climb up, and there is a wooden door about 10 feet in front of you. And you can tell that there are four things glowing. Four symbols. Four symbols. The first, the second, and the fourth from the left.
So I'm in front of the door that had the symbols on it.
Yes.
It's the door.
It is
so now
the
they
door.
can see me.
Yeah. Well, they could see the whole time. So it's just one long hallway that's really tall, and by the time you get to the end, the ceiling is much closer.
Okay. Okay. My mental image is now caught up.
Right. Teshvael.
Yes.
You see Baz cross and climb up to the other side.
I'll just follow Baz's footsteps.
Okay. And Azaka does the same. You are both able to climb up, and you are on the final ledge with a giant wolf spider on the wall, and a RinRin also on the wall. Now it's a little bit tighter.
I wonder if food tastes different when he's like that.
You can ask him when he comes back out of it.
It's true.
Cool.
Baz is
What would
just
you guys like?
staring at him like, the fuck?
Baz. You showed some paternal instincts towards that small, flightless avian. There is a practice where I'm from, where when raising winged youth, you try and either have a glove that looks like the head of the mother, or you don a costume of sorts in order to trick it into thinking that you are its caretaker. I found this, and, well, I thought of you. And he will give to Baz the Axebeak mask.
Oh, that's really cute. Baz
It's like 2 feet big.
Oh, okay. Like large, like a tribal, very clearly like
A tribal mask. Yeah.
It's not a menagerie mask. Is what you're saying. All right. Baz just kind of looks at it and says, "Well, thanks. It's really thoughtful of you."
Well,
He's
of
gonna
course.
sling it over his back.
You are all very important to me. And I want to make sure that you get the most out of this journey.
Baz doesn't know what to take away from that.
There is a door in front of you.
Oh god. Sorry, I just remember saying those exact words several times during Christmas. Okay.
RinRin and Hassan are the Doru now.
You guys are the door.
I'm going to reach out and open the door.
There is no handle on the door.
I'm going to push the door.
It does not budge.
I'm going to lift it from the bottom.
And lo, it does not budge.
There's a montage of Baz trying to open the door in various ways. Oh, cheers, mate. I was going to try and lift it from the bottom next.
Are you having some trouble?
She did the same thing to you.
Yes.
Can I help? What is it? Will it not open? Is it stuck?
It might be, or there's some sort of trick to it. I'm gonna like poke the glowing runes on the door.
Which one do you poke?
The bottom one.
Okay. I need the 3 people on the ledge. You know what? I'm going to say this is everyone, because the 2 of you have closed in as well. The ones on the wall. I need y'all to make a Constitution saving throw.
Con save.
Poisoned effect.
This is not a poisoned effect.
And I said, "Fuck you."
15.
Okay.
13.
18.
Okay.
Fucking like less than 10.
Why are you rolling so bad?
Do you have your mantle yet? Your plus
No.
3, or is that?
That's at like level 10.
No, it's like 6.
Oh, well, I'm 4, so... Also, think about it. I'm
Baby.
rolling really poorly tonight. You guys are going to be playing in my game tomorrow.
A thunderous wave of energy bursts from the door. Hassan, all of you except for Teshvael, dig in your feet and aren't pushed back. However, you take 4 points of thunder damage. Teshvael, you are flung backwards and land back first on the puzzle cubes below the puzzle on below you.
Save me, Summerwise.
Summerwise grips onto you,
no.
like around the neck with his claws a little bit, as you
into it.
land, slam on the ground.
Sorry,
Below.
how much damage should we take?
Everyone else takes 4. Tesh, you take 9,
Ooh,
Owie.
that is a decent bit.
and it's not so much that you slam on the ground; you kind of float, and
It's the thunderous
Summer-
burst. That's the real issue.
and it pushes you back, and you land on the puzzle floor. But you don't land on the ones that you kind of land sprawled out. So you're touching more than one cube puzzle piece at this time.
Well, that's not good.
Ash, are you okay?
Falls backward. Ka-chunk.
You land, and think to yourself, that's not good, and squeeze your eyes expecting something, and nothing happens.
Oh.
Summerwise clutching onto you, sending to your mind the image of I am the crocodile.
Oh, did Summerwise take blast damage?
No, because that would probably kill him. He is part of you.
I would lay on hands Summerwise and then myself if that was the case.
Pretty sure
He has 7 HP.
Okay. I'm not. It's the whole thing where, like, if he's part of you, he shares damage with you or something like that. How does equipment on you?
Equipment has to be targeted.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say I rolled a save for Summerwise and it was 16 on the dice, so they would have only taken 4. So I can still like give a little bit of a healy to Summerwise.
Perfect.
And then a healy to myself. Yeah. Just don't worry. I won't let anything happen to us.
He's a feeling of great appreciation. Like, yes, please don't let anything happen to me. I'm special, like you said.
You are the most special. Like, if able to like telepath back, like not sure if Summerwise is able to hear, but he's just thinking, I love you more than anyone else I've met today.
Baz is gonna peek over the ledge and be like, is he dead?
Teshvael lays on the floor, sprawled out amongst all the puzzle.
Just heal myself.
He's gonna like look at the walls where he assumes that the flames are supposed to come out. He's all like,
you see like nozzles where flames would spew.
yeah, and he scratches his head. Why didn't the trap activate?
Maybe it's already fired.
Cash gets back up.
I mean, don't check, but I would say that might be part of it.
He's gonna turn around, look back at the door, and say, "Did that
Hassan.
trap deactivate when we did the thing?"
Hassan's going to slide down the wall, transform into himself again. 3 out of the 4 runes were touched, correct? Maybe the previous divers activated all of the traps. Last one killed them.
There are no bodies on this ledge.
It seems to imply they got through.
Okay, what if you guys just go back into the other room? I'll hit all the buttons, and then we'll figure out which one it is.
A dumb idea.
But it would work.
And you'd be dead.
Well, let's think about this in terms of lizard and man. They had to cross a river, right? Well, what do you do once you cross the river? You gotta come back the way you went.
I don't know what you're
thought
talking about. I'm so confused.
What do the symbols on the door look like?
They are random lines, dots, and squiggles. You cannot discern a meaning from them, just that they match the ones on the floor.
Dig in your heels, everybody. He's gonna walk up, and he's gonna try and hit the 4th symbol, the one that the last one that he hit. He would have touched with his foot.
Sorry. So, just previously, you touched the bottom left one, right? And it's the ones that are lit up are bottom left. On the next row, it's the second one in. On the third one, it's the second one in. And on the top row, it's the 4th one in.
Right.
So top right.
He's going to touch the top right one.
Okay. Everyone make me a Constitution saving throw. Not Tesh, because you're still below.
15.
14.
Not higher than a 10.
Okay.
God.
Hassan, you take. Wait, I need to save for Azaka. Wait, Azaka, maybe you have more points in Constitution than I think you do. You do not. Azaka and Hassan, you are flung from up on this ledge and fall below. And when the two of you fall, you land on the puzzles separately. And the fire nozzles unleash an inferno on you. And I need you to make a dex saving throw.
So we'll talk about that new character, right?
Tesh, you are standing right at the ledge and just out of the reach of these fire nozzles as they spray down on the puzzle cube floor itself.
Like, in Draconic to Summerwise, you might get a treat yet.
Sorry, what'd you roll for your dex saving throw?
Not higher than a 10.
Unfortunate, as the jets blow down on you and you take 22 fire damage.
Cool. How much did I take from the shock blast?
5.
It's 4.
4 the first time, 5 the second time. The people up top, you took 2.
Cool.
How you feeling there, bud?
I'd say I'm about 50%.
Okay.
Hassan is going to...
You were slow to roll out of the way as these jets blew down on you, but you can roll back into the position next to Teshvael out of their reach. Azaka does the same.
Oh my god, are you okay? Hassan, I'm so sorry.
His suit is burning. He's patting it out. He glares over to Baz. Stop touching buttons!
You better stop touching buttons.
Baz scoots away from the door, like looks down at the floor, like, sorry.
Azaka, patting herself out as well, huffs because this is the first time bit of actual damage she's taken in a while, and she does not like it. And she looks at Tesh, and she looks at herself, and looks at Summerwise. Why didn't it activate on you?
Tesh, I was a little bit farther back than the rest of you.
But when you fell just where I fell.
Is it because of our of Summerwise?
Summerwise is my crocodile. Isn't that right?
And she takes a moment and thinks about it. So you are man and he is your crocodile.
Yes.
Like the legend was said.
I will carry this creature to the ends of the earth and back, and I will do it gladly, Azaka. There was a bug that flew like right in my face.
No, that works. Just
Interesting theory. But why did the door trap work on him?
I didn't open the door.
He didn't press the door.
Well, if you would all like, I can attempt to do this, me and Summerwise.
Okay, but if you do, everyone else should move back to a different place.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes, RinRin, you are very
Go sit
smart.
down on the ledge.
you sit like on the edge or drop down below.
Flute.
Hassan,
Yeah.
I could be your crocodile if you want. Wait,
We are
no,
on
you could be my.
opposite sides.
Just yelling it.
Yeah, you're still up on the wall. He's on the ground.
Do you need help coming up?
You see him clamber, look to Azaka. May I?
Go ahead.
Clambers up on top of her.
She helps you onto your back, onto her back. So like man and crocodile, we try the door.
We try the door.
She will climb up onto the ledge that has the door, and bending down will press the bottom left and the second one and kind of look up to you. I can only take you halfway.
I could take you all the way. Click, click.
RinRin
And
just
then-
like from the other side of the room just goes, whoop.
And lo, the door swings open before you. And inside is a vault. The floor of this dusty 40-foot high, 20-foot wide chamber is littered with dinosaur bones, with webs stretching from wall to wall. In the center is a pillar that is coiled around with a narrow stone staircase, also covered in dust. Carved into the pillar are reliefs of a man carrying a crocodile going up the stairs. The reliefs follow the stairs to the top of the pillar, on which sits a large, beautiful ceramic mug. And as the door swings open, you see two more goblin bodies. You see one with its throat slit, like on the floor, and another one is leaned up against the wall, its legs mangled, and it looks up at you.
Like actively looks up, or is just like
It actively looks up at you. Does anyone here speak Goblin?
no.
No.
It croaks a few words at you in a scratchy voice, and looks like it's on its dying leg.
Can I get a wisdom save out of it?
Yes. Let me open up. What are you casting on it, my friend?
Toll the Dead.
I'm pretty sure a 2 does not pass.
Yeah, 12 necrotic.
Looking at you in anguish, its mind is racked by necrotic energy, and its eyes roll back as they decay in its head, and it dies there.
Baz, do you want to ride on my shoulders?
Cannot?
Sure.
Bass is going to be RinRin's crocodile.
So we have the RinRin and RinRin, Baz Crocodile, Azaka and Hassan Crocodile, and the Teshvael and Summerwise Crocodile.
Clearly, mine's the best.
Clearly, yours is the best. Like I said, inside this room, it is littered with dinosaur bones. Azaka and Hassan, you walked into the entrance when you told the dead this goblin, and you, looking at it, see a very fine and well-kept satchel on its person.
Zaka, if you will. I'll point at the satchel.
Okay. She bends down and just rips it off of the goblin. This goblin also had a mask. Let's call it a... what did old Yaka have?
Oh, this was a named NPC.
This was a named NPC.
Great.
Oh, not named enough that it said what mask it had. Let's call it a Allosaurus.
Ooh.
Allosaurus mask, and in its hand it had a bloodied knife. But it had a bloodied knife and the satchel, and Zaka looks at it, appraises it, and then hands it up to you. And you can tell that there is definitely a magical vibe coming from this satchel.
Can I, from where I'm sitting, inspect the other goblin where the throat was slit? Is it like a...
It's down face first, still wearing its mask.
I'll ask Azaka to flip it over.
She kicks it over.
Can I match the knife to the throat slit?
Yeah.
Well, I think we might have gotten what we came for.
And there is at the top of this pillar a ceramic jug, and like the quest item at the bottom of a dungeon, a shaft of light is shining down on it.
Did you say it was? You said it was a ceramic jug, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think you said a mug earlier, and I was
Oh.
like, oh,
Okay.
nice.
Hey. No, it is a ceramic jug with a J.
Tesh and Summerwise will go up to it.
Okay.
Okay, but don't touch it.
You are the man, and he is your crocodile, and therefore do not trigger any of the traps.
Oh, okay, good.
The many, many traps.
Why would there be traps? I'm traveling with the greatest companion of all time.
It's beautiful. You
It's a
at the top.
cat-sized dragon with a stinger tail, RinRin. You have to understand.
These are pretty high steps going up, and you climb it as man and crocodile, and at top is this jug. It is many stoppered, like it's got one big stopper on the top and several lining it around the top as well.
I'll pick it up.
Okay. You pick up the jug and nothing happens. You have a ceramic jug. And you are a spellcaster, right?
I am a charisma caster.
Good. You have spells.
Yes.
Okay. That's my litmus test to decide whether or not someone can tell something is magical or not. And this is magical.
Oh, most excellent. I'm just going to carry it back down with me.
You find this is actually, you have a small creature or tiny creature, so this is still pretty easy for you to descend the staircase, and you arrive at the bottom.
Summerwise, do you know what something like this is?
He says probably some superstitious, doesn't say this, gives you the idea of like some superstitious artifacts. The Chultons do like their gifts from their old god.
Tesh will nod and just walk over and hand it to Hassan. Here. And then like almost like dejectedly hand him the ceramic jug, and then he's gonna start looking through the dinosaur bones if he can find a chew toy for Summerwise.
Okay, yeah.
Like
You can definitely find a chew toy. Is there any specific dinosaur you were looking for?
Not inherently. I am seeing if there is a bone that like Summerwise is like, ooh yes, want to bite.
Want bone. There's probably one with like a little bit of gristle left on it.
Yeah.
Maybe something had made a nest here and was eating, had picked up small dinosaur beast.
Yeah. Then
Cool.
doing that, and then it also just kind of doing a general scan to see if I see any signs of the prophecy here.
The closest thing is crocodile. And you don't think that has anything to do with your prophecy.
That's fine.
Hassan, would you like to make me any sort of Arcana check, or anyone who is trained in Arcana?
How long does it take for Tesh to do this? Because while I'm doing this, I'll try and do a good old 10-minute detect magic on the bag.
Okay. I would say a total of probably like 10 minutes to get up there, just because you have to like hoist yourself up, because there's still space like 3 feet apart, so it's no easy task, but not weighed down. It's you were able to do it. So you can detect magic, and what does that do for you?
It will tell me what I... Well, hold on. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura of around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. And you learn what school, if any.
Cool. Not necessarily. What's summoning in this world?
Conjuration.
Conjuration on the jug. the bag. I don't think there's necessarily a school of magic, but doing so, you look inside and it is spacious. It is a bag of holding.
Mm.
It is a satchel of holding. I don't know what school of magic that would be. Alteration?
Maybe transmutation?
Transmutation, maybe. Something related to the astral plane.
It's whatever school of magic banishment is.
Abjuration?
Yeah, it'd be abjuration then.
Abjuration.
Because that's all about putting things in places where they kind of don't belong, but they just sort of hang out anyways.
Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
Bum, 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 bum.
Why doesn't it say? Like, I'm reading the page too. It's like, it doesn't say. This is...
No, most magic items don't really say what they reveal under a detect magic spell, which annoys me. I have to like.
Which is great for the way that detect magic is worded.
Yeah. Anybody else have any magical items on them that Mr. Hassan would notice?
I like to think that
I don't
Baz
think
has
so.
a magical person.
Me,
What do you have on you?
my necklace.
Oh yeah, you have your necklace. I'm going to message Hassan what what school of magic that is.
I can guess. During this entire time, you see like his eyes start doing the hypnotoad pattern as he's scanning the room.
Right.
All hail.
All hail the hypnotoad.
I guessed right.
You guessed quite right. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
I have a guess as well. Knights in the Courtyard.
Everyone can guess at everyone's secrets, but we will never. The true secrets were the friends we made along the way.
RinRin, you see Hassan stare at you, and an eyebrow quirks.
She was like looking off into a corner, and then kind of like it was like just past him, and then she realized he was looking at her, and she's just like, "Wait, what happened? Did you say something to me?" Like in her eyes, she's like, "Wait, what?"
Baz is on her back, and he just kind of looks down at her and up at him, and down at her again.
Baz, can you move your ankle? You're hurting my stomach.
Oh, sorry. Where should I?
And she like hoists up his legs higher, so he's like cross-legged.
Yeah. And he's kind of a gangly fella, so now he's just kind of like a spindly spider person on her back.
Hassan looks up at Baz, and there's the look of murder, a look he's accustomed to.
Baz gives him a shrug, like, "What did I do?"
Just make sure you don't touch my boobs, okay?
Let's go and all.
No, you still have to hold on to me. Just hold my shoulders.
Ah!
Right.
Shenanigans ensue.
When Tesh comes back, does the jar give off anything?
Yeah,
I
that
had
was
given you the jar.
conjuration.
before- Yeah, I gave you the jar before I started looking for shit.
Yeah, conjuration on that. If you want, you can give an Arcana check on it.
Natural 20.
Womp, womp, womp,
24.
womp.
It is an alchemy jug.
I thought
You can
so.
use it to create
Mayonnaise.
liquids. You
We
can
never-
use it to create
God,
mayonnaise.
no. Fuck off.
Two,
It's not liquid.
2 gallons of mayonnaise.
No, it's not liquid.
Sure it is.
No.
But this could come in very useful.
Sure it is.
I disagree. This is useful because we don't need to set up a rain catcher anymore. We can make water.
We can just have mayonnaise whenever we want.
Think of
There
all the
is-
sandwiches.
There is a wicked smile from Hassan.
Well, you seem awfully pleased with yourself.
There
There's
is
a
going to be
pulling.
so much mayonnaise, Tesh.
Summer-wise, do you like mayonnaise?
He has the idea of what is mayonnaise.
It's basically just whipped eggs and cream.
Interesting. He
Oh
finds
my
this-
god, mayonnaise is actually on the list.
Yes!
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
No, I wasn't being a jokester.
It's literally on the list for
Holy
like
shit.
no reason.
No.
I'm getting thumb in rice again. To measure the water, you put your thumb in rice, it goes up to your first knuckle. That's enough water.
Nights in the courtyard. Now,
So, you are looking at this jug, and while you are hilarity ensuing with Baz on RinRin's back, you hear the sound of gunshots outside. Gunshots and yelling.
Well, that sounds rather important. We should probably look towards it. And Tesh will just immediately start going.
Mhm.
Right. Azaka, I don't think Hassan got off of Azaka's. She just like sat down on the ground while you were looking at detect magicking. She shoots up with you on her back and heads out the door that you guys came in. And I'm assuming Baz and RinRin do similarly. And as you travel back through the traps that you went through, none of them activate, not even the pit trap, as you emulate Man and Crocodile. And as you depart the statue of Man and Crocodile into the sun, into the blinding sunlight for Baz.
Oh God!
On the shoreline, there are two guards with their guns pointed up at the hill where they had been constructing something. And a few of the tribal warriors are dragging one of their other tribal warriors away who has an arrow into his chest. And another one is dragging away one of the other guards who is trying to point his gun up, but he too has an arrow in him. And right at the entrance, Undril is in melee combat with a 6-foot man. And you'd think, oh, just a man. But as you burst out into the sunlight, this man has the head of a poisonous snake, and he chomps down on Undril. And that is where we'll leave off for tonight.
Yes. God, I'm excited for next week. Thank you, Tyler, for running such a wonderful game. This is going to be a good one. Hey, Tyler, speaking of good ones, where can we find you? What do you do?
Hi, my name's Tyler. You can find me at Frothy Inferno on Twitter, where I sometimes tweet about stuff or don't. Otherwise, you can find me here on Sundays or maybe some other times on different shows.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ here on the channel, but you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life, and I'm going to be streaming now that I have my Switch set up to my computer. Hey! You can catch me here tomorrow in our home campaign as Albergine Ostafor, a Warlock Barbarian, as we head to Galay to find the boy. And you can also catch me on Thursday at Game Nights channel, where we're playing a system called The Good Place. It is a Jane Austen-inspired TTG RPG. We're playing a game called, what was it? Elegant Suffering, which is what it's titled. It's our session 0, so we're going to hammer out some things, but hopefully I get that good.
Hi, I'm LBHackEmUp. You can find me at LBHackEmUp on Twitter, where I need to update my schedule because it's not current. I will be playing next tomorrow on this channel as Gwen, the Halfling Barbarian Fighter. On Wednesday, I'll be on Nerd Immersion's channel doing Rod of 7 Parts as Siren, the Tiefling Fighter Rogue. And then on Thursday, Lauren and I will be streaming more horror. Oh boy, is it fun. If you want a trip, watch the first 15 minutes of the last stream we did, because oh boy, do you see how much of a baby I am. And then on Sunday, I'll be playing on Game Night's channel for Monster of the Week. And then back here, DanaeKeener.com.
And speaking of DanaeKeener.com, you can find me at DanaeKeener.com. Oh yeah, I'm Danae Keener. I do nerdy drawings, mostly related to D&D, and a lot of things on this channel. You can also find me here on Mondays playing as Coriander the Elegant Paladin during our home game, or on Sundays playing as Baz the Drow Rogue during Tomb of Annihilation. DanaeKeener.com.
And if you've made it this far, you probably already know who I am. But if you don't, hey Acorns, what's up? It's me, your buddy, your pal, your friend, the Indoor Adventurer, the showrunner here at twitch.tv/Indoor Adventures. We do shows like this Monday and Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or on Sundays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If this is your first time joining us, maybe you want to check out youtube.com/Indoor Adventures, where you can gain access to all of our every one of our VODs. So all of the games that we've ever played since we started streaming on this channel, even on the channel where, or even when back before we had a layout for streaming. I'm pretty sure that game is also listed. So go and check it out. I think it's still a fun time, even though our production value was significantly less than what it was at the time. Other than that, we are going to be going into our after show called Nights in the Courtyard, where we answer questions not only from the community, but also from each other. So if you have any questions that you want to ask all of us, or you're curious about the questions that we ask each other, consider going to patreon.com/Indoor Adventures. It's a good time. Those podcasts are being made available for free, but right now we are going to be heading there. So once again, I would like to say thank you to Tyler for running this game. Thank you to these players for agreeing to put up with our bullshit this week, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.